Hey everyone, we're here live. It's kind of what is today? Today's the 12th of January, and we're doing a little surprise live stream because I thought that I would just jump on here because I just received the new Mac Mini M1, and yeah, so I thought I'd just jump on here while we did an unboxing video to show you exactly what it is about. So I've been thinking about this M1 for quite a while now, and it seems that the Mac Mini has the ARM architecture, which I'm not really sure what that means, but it's been around for quite a long time, and it's really used in cell phone processors, for processors for mobile devices. And the way that it works, it really kind of requires a different way of thinking than the normal x86 architecture we're used to with regular computers. And what I mean by that is that, when we think about buying a new computer nowadays and we think about, let's say and the reason I'm buying this is for video editing. That's the primary purpose, the primary reason. When we think about video editing, we're thinking about RAM processor speed. So we want a lot of processor speed. We want a lot of RAM. We want GPU, graphics performance, graphics card. We want to maximize all of that to just the nth degree, right? So you get things like the Mac Pro, and you can build them out to, they're almost $30,000 because you're filling with so much stuff, right? And so the Mac Mini with the M1 with the ARM architecture, or what Apple calls their silicone. So first, that's what we want. So you may already know that there's a motherboard, and then there's a processor that's on the motherboard, the CPU, like from Terminator. And then there's the RAM, which plugs into the motherboard as well. And then the hard drive, which also plugs into the motherboard somewhere else. So the big difference with this ARM and this whole new M1 is that instead of having these as separate components that you can actually pull out and swap, in the past, we've had computers that had CPUs that you could pull out and replace. You could replace the RAM, you could replace the hard drive. Now all of that is different. You cannot replace anything. So everything is soldered together on the motherboard. So you've got this processor, the CPU, the RAM, and the SSD hard drive chips, or whatever they are. They're all hardwired onto the same motherboard. So you can't make any changes, which of course a lot of people decry. And when you're thinking about the x86 structure, you're thinking that's just like, oh my gosh, this is, that's terrible. And so I remember when the M1 first came out, and I'm not one of these people that are really into tech, so I'm not really paying attention to the news about it, a year advance. They came out with the M1 in November, and I pretty much heard about it in November and started watching videos and started listening to people and talking to people about it. And this is where my whole journey has taken me, and this is what I've been able to deduce. And so the basic thing is that, what am I saying? How's it going? Glad you're tuning in. But we're just talking about opening the Mac Mini M1. And so the Mac Mini architecture, so we think about the architecture for computers we want to maximize everything. And so when the Mac Mini the M1 was released, that was my initial thought. Like they have two versions. There's the 8 gigabyte and the 16 gigabyte for RAM, and there's 256 and then 512 for SSD. And then there's a few more. And you can actually spec this out to, like $2,000. And really, I don't have that kind of money. I'm not really going to spend that kind of money. So I want to save as much money as I can. And so but when you think about the M1 really needs you to have a whole different way of thinking. So all of that x86 way of thinking needs to be put aside. And that was the hardest part for me, as I trying to understand. But as I was watching people make videos, they were talking about, all kinds of things. A lot of guys, they're really into video. So they're very much like, we're going to take this M1 and we're going to use it to run in 6K video, 12K video, 8K video. Okay, that's cool. But I'm not that kind of creator. I've got very basic needs right now. Everything we're doing on this channel and this Pro channel is 1080 HD. We're not shooting in 4K. We're not processing in 4K. We're not doing anything in 4K. So as I was watching these videos and people's reviews, I realized that, for the money at $699, the base model of the M1 Mac Mini with the 8 gigabytes of RAM and the 256 gigabytes of hard drive space would probably be the right choice. And so that's what I bought. And so that's what we have here. And it's been kind of an ordeal. In the Mac world, as you know, there's really no discounts, right? You can get the student discount, and then, pretty much what Apple charges is what Apple charges, and nobody really discounts it, except for Costco. So Costco, where this is normally $6.99 from Apple, Costco charges $6.69. So you save $30, which really is not a tremendous amount. I mean, it's really a minuscule amount. I mean, I don't even know how much that is. So if we take $30, divide that by $6.99, so you're talking about less, 4.2% saving. So it's not a tremendous savings, but in the world of Apple, it's something. So I wanted to order it from, but of course Costco doesn't have these in their stores yet. I guess they're too new, so they don't have them in the stores. So you have to go on to Costco.com and order online. And so I'm trying to order online, but I had a few gift certificates from Costco that I had from being a member, and in order to use those, you have to go to the store, convert that into a shop card, and then after you have the shop card, then you can use that online. So I went through all this rigmarole to go to the store, bring the coupon, bring the certificates, converting the shop card, then went back and start ordering it. So I placed the first order on the 24th of December, and it said there'd be there by the 28th. So the 27th rolls around, I look at it, there's no order. It turns out it had been canceled. Try again, canceled. Try again, canceled. So finally, I'm like, I need to get this done. It's now past. We're now into the new year. It's past. I did this. The second order is on the 31st. So the 24th, 28th, and then 2 on the 31st, and then finally the 4th of January. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? So I'm calling into Costco service, and I'm just getting a whole rigmarole runaround, which is very frustrating. And it's 2 weeks now, and I'm only trying to save $30. And if it takes 2 weeks and all this aggravation, it's just not worth it. So finally, I get through all of this more rigmarole. So basically, I spent at least 10 hours with customer service trying to figure out all the different issues that are happening. And it turns out that there was a variety of different issues that were happening at each step of the way. Finally, the last thing was that I wanted to have it shipped to my shop instead of to my house, because there's always somebody at the shop. And turns out if you're buying stuff from Costco online, you cannot do that, especially for electronics. So I had to have it shipped to the warehouse. But then when I finally went to go ship it to the warehouse, I started getting more error messages. And then again, I'm on customer service for 4 hours trying to figure that issue. And then the only issue they could figure out was, well, go into the store and they have terminals there. You can use those. So I go to the store, same problem. Can't get it to work. Finally, I get the front end assistant manager, this guy named Travis, and he takes like an hour and a half, and he's on the phone with Costco online guys, customer service people, and he's going to bat, and he's making it happen. So finally, they're able to make it happen. They push the order through, and now we finally got it. So thanks, Travis. Appreciate it. And so let's open it up. Now we've got here. This was sent to the local warehouse, and there was a strip here that I just pulled off before I decided to go live, and that will allow me to open. What should allow me to open? Oh, there's still some tape, so we'll open that up. Now I'm not sure if this is the packaging that comes from Apple. I mean, of course, if you buy it at the Apple store, you're not going to have this box. Or maybe if you order it from Apple.com, you'll get it this way. All right, there we go. Oh, there. Mac Mini. So there's a little bit of what do you call it? Okay, that's everything in there. There's a little bit of cardboard on each side to protect it. All right. So it's from what all the reviews that I've read or talked to or seen on YouTube, and then there's the bottom part here, right? As you can see, Mac Mini 8 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte SSD. So this is, like I said before, this is the cheapest one and the most entry-level Mac that they've had yet. And the nice thing is that it is $100 cheaper than the previous Mac Mini release. So if you get the Intel version of Mac Mini, the cheapest one, I guess, is $800 instead of $700, which is still, a bit of money. All right, I'm going to take off the plastic wrap. I mean, one thing that Apple does do a very good job at is making very attractive packaging. All right, so let's have a look. Let me tilt the camera down a little bit so you can see it. And then we're going to open up. Oh, it's got some resistance because of the vacuum. The packaging is pretty tight. Oh, nothing really at the bottom, top of the box. Oh, good Lord. All right, that's not good. All right, so there it is. The Apple Mac Mini M1. Very simple. Where's the... Oh, interesting. So I was just wondering where are the ports, because you'd see, but the ports are actually here. I guess there's something covered, and we'll get into that in a moment. So let's look inside here. Let's get a check on that. Oh, we got too much. Let me turn the lighting off there. That would help a little bit. So designed by Apple in California. Their usual. Well, they haven't said. There's a booklet. Mac Mini. So, just shows some interesting, a little bit of typical pre-Apple. Welcome to Mac Mini. There's the status indication lights, as well as the power. The Ethernet port. The Ethernet port evidently is only 10-bit. I guess the other ones are 100 megabit, 10 megabit. The other ones were 100 megabit. I'm not using anything high speed, so this should be fine for me. Then some of the complaints were that on the old Mac Mini there were 4 of these Thunderbolt ports. Now there's only 2, and there's HDMI. And then the headphone jack, as well as the blah, 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 blah. What do you call that? The USB. So they're all together. A little bit Mac Mini to tell you probably some kind of warranty, telling you that what not to do. Open this, and you're going to oh, and the sticker. Nice. Now they're silver. Hey, Rusty, good to see you. Yes, I finally got it. Finally came in today after a bunch of rigmarole. And so let's see what else is in here. So inside here, oh, look at this. So Apple, of course, is doing this very nice. They package it so well that you kind of don't want to, open it. Do I have another one of these somewhere in the house? And then is there anything else? Let's see. Is there anything else? No, I think that's it. Okay, so that's it. Let's see how prettily we can open this. Oh, pretty. Now, I've heard that people pay money for packaging. Like, people want to buy. Oh, look at that. They put this. Look at that. That's interesting. Huh? And this is like a not quite paper, not quite plastic, but somewhere in between. Oh, and it's got double, so it sticks. It makes you wonder why. Why do you need to go through this level of packaging? I like it. But it's interesting to think, well, why would you do that? I guess that justifies the price. All right, let's put this away. All right, we'll leave that. Should be like that. Then signed by Apple. Good. We'll put that over here. All right, so there it is, the Mac Mini. Oh, I should hide the tummy. Oh. All right, so here we are, the Mac Mini. And of course it has this. This is actually kind of one of the best parts of opening Apple stuff, is that they have this, they always put this like packaging wrapper on it, so you kind of like pull it, and there's this kind of there's a textural feel that is really quite enjoyable. Oh, oh. Huh? Is that it? I could tear it up more. Oh, there's even some there's some text here. I don't know if that's backwards for you. It's backwards for me. It should be this way. Oh, it's upside down too. 1 Apple Parkway, Cupertino. Use requires acceptance of the software license terms presented electronically during setup. Yes. We know. All right, let's open this up. All right, that's pretty much it. And here it is, the Mac Mini M1. So unlike I've got a Mac Mini, a 2011 Mac Mini, and it actually has an infrared port here for, I guess, the Apple remote, and they don't have that on this anymore. Now it's just this little indicator light. That little indicator light. There's no more. So the ports are covered here, right, by this tab. There's this tab. Come on. There it is. So this tab covers the ports. And we're supposed to pull. Oh, it's nice feeling. Oh. 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 Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's a nice feeling. Mm-hmm. So there it is. The ports of the Mac, the M1. There's the power, Ethernet, the 2 Thunderbolt, HDMI, the, what do you call it? USB, the headphone. Oh, there's no, I guess the headphone works also as a microphone jack as well. And then there's a port here. This big slot is a big port for the fan. And, oh, I guess the bottom here. So as you can see, the bottom is just this kind of base. And typically in the base, there is the, what do you call it? The antenna for the Wi-Fi. On other Mac models, they actually have like these little like indentations so that you can use that to twist it off. And I don't know if it'll do that anymore. Anyway, so this is it. And that's the Mac Mini. But why did I get it? So I really wanted to get it because I've been using this Mac, the one that I'm actually broadcasting live stream from, this one here. Right, there's this one. This is my old MacBook Air, and it's a mid-2013 model. I got it in 2013 in June, and it's been a great machine. And for pretty much everything that I do for work, it works great. You know, I mainly use it for Photoshop, a little bit of Excel, and yeah, Photoshop and Excel are the major like components that I'm using for, plus also anything else that's online, you know, so Facebook, whatever, that all is done on there, and it's been great. However, since we started doing these YouTube channels, I was editing for a long time on iMovie, and that worked really well. But finally we get to the point in what we're doing with the videos that we're kind of exceeding the capabilities of iMovie. So in August, we started using DaVinci Resolve, which is this different video editor, but a much more capable video editor. And on the MacBook Air, it works. It will work. Pretty much everything we've released since August has been on DaVinci Resolve. And DaVinci Resolve, if you're familiar with it, it's a very complicated, it's a very complex unit, software that has a lot of layers that if you really want to get into, there's a lot more that you can get into. However, if you try to get into a lot of those layers, which what they call things like fusion or the color correction, it really taxes the MacBook Air. So it really starts to bog down and drag. So it's really just just brutal, and it's really becomes almost unusable at that point because there's just so much that it's trying to do. And then if you watch the live streams in the past, like earlier on in the live streams on Thursday night, we were getting a lot of sync issues, and that was because basically the MacBook Air being 7 years old is getting taxed, and that's why I wanted to get this M1, or I've been wanting to get a new model, a new computer for a while, but at the prices that Macs normally are, it was going to be a lot longer than I was expecting. Then finally, when this M1 came out with the lower price point and this incredible capability, like it's super capable from what I've seen, it just made sense to get it right away. And so I'm going to start to set it up and install it into, I don't know if I could start setting it up now. Yeah, let's give it a try. All right, so we're going to plug this in. Oh, it's going to take a long time because you still got to register it, so maybe we won't do that online. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to implement this into our workflow here. Maybe we'll be able to use it in time for Thursday night, and I think by doing that, it'll allow a lot more flexibility for the live streams. As far as having more sources, I can bring in other cameras eventually, right? And then it'll be able to be more dynamic, and because there are applications out there. I think one of them I'm thinking about is called StreamYard, that allows, like, if you watch other people's live streams where their comments pop up on the screen and they bring in other guests, those are the apps that allow that. And pretty much on the MacBook Air, it's pretty taxed. So yeah, that's it. So that's pretty much where we are, and I just thought that I would jump on here and do a little unboxing video for the Mac Mini. So excited to have this to get it to rolling. So, all right. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you taking the time. I hope it's been a great week for you. Don't forget, we'll be back 2 nights from now on Thursday night, 8 p.m. to do live streaming of the weekly coffee and cigars. What is the cigar this week? The cigar this week is going to be, I still don't know. I still have to look. But here, these two are here. And then I'm probably going to head out to Tobacco Leaf tomorrow to figure out what are the next few weeks after that. So one of these two, this is the 4 Kicks by Crown Heads and the HL from Illusione. So one of those two will be starting on Thursday. So come back then. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great time, and see you in a couple nights.